So, happy Tuesday, everyone. Hey, veteran Lang here, aka your friendly VA accredited Matthew Lang, here for another video where we talk about VA compensation, VA benefits, for the purpose of education, helping to improve the system here that's broken. Yeah, thank you for being here. As always, we know that you got plenty of sources to go check out. Please don't forget to check all those individuals out as well. But also, just thank you. Thank you for trusting us with your information and your VA benefits talk today. So let's do this. Not too long ago, VA announced major improvements in claims processing, and it seems like they make these announcements quite often. But this one included faster disability decisions and lower backlog. That sounds great, but veterans still need to understand the difference between speed, accuracy, backlog numbers, and whether the decision is actually right. And so this is ultimately what we're going to talk about today and what it all means in real life. So let's say VA says disability claims are moving faster than ever. And on paper, some of those numbers are impressive. Now, VA announced not too long ago that the average time to complete a disability claim had dropped to roughly 80.7 days, down from 141.5 days since the start of the current administration. VA also said claims processing accuracy was up to 94.02% and that the claims backlog had fallen below 100,000 claims, roughly in February, for the first time since 2020. Now that's real news. But here's the question, veterans, you should ask. Does faster mean better? Because faster decisions can be great if they are also fair, complete, and correct. But if VA is moving cases faster without getting the decision right, then some veterans may just be getting denied quicker. So I want to walk you through what VA actually announced recently and what the numbers probably do mean. What they do not necessarily mean, where veterans might get into trouble, and what you should do if your case gets decided fast but not well. So again, as always, this video is for general education only. It is not legal advice for specific cases. Every VA case depends on the facts, the evidence, and the laws that apply at the time of that case. So before making decisions, though, veterans, don't forget about your BSOs, your VA accredited claim agents, and your VA accredited attorneys like myself, who may be able to help you and represent you and get you a better result in those decisions. Now, if you're here for the first time, welcome to the channel as we talk about practical veterans law, VA claims strategy, and well, what all these updates and rules and everything in the VA world means in life. So let's get started with the announcement itself. Now, this announcement was a little bit further back, but it was on April 15th, 2026, roughly. VA put out a press release saying it had made major improvements in benefit processing and delivery. VA said it processed a record more than 3 million claims in fiscal year 2025 and was on a similar pace in fiscal year 2026. It said it hit 1 million disability claims in FY 2026 faster than ever. By February 2nd, 2026, it said the 12-month accuracy rate had reached 94.02%, and it said the average time to complete a claim had dropped to 80.7 days. I might be explaining my workload's getting heavier. VA also highlighted big drops in average processing time for pension, survivors benefits, and DIC claims. So if you're a veteran or surviving family member who has been waiting on a decision, that all sounds very encouraging. And to be fair, some of it probably is encouraging. But if VA can move claims faster without sacrificing quality, well, that's a good thing. But if survivor claims and pension claims are getting processed faster, that matters in real life. Those are not abstract numbers. Those are families trying to help keep the lights on. Those are people waiting for a decision after a death, after an illness, after the loss of income, or after years of dealing with the system. So I do not want to pretend faster processing is bad news. It is not bad news, but it is incomplete news. And this is where veterans need to slow down and think clearly, in my professional opinion. Because there are at least 4 different things that often get mixed together in these announcements: speed, backlog, accuracy, and correctness in your individual case. Those are not all the same thing. Let's start with speed. Speed means how long it takes VA to issue a decision. Now, that matters, obviously. Nobody wants to wait forever. Long delays create financial stress, emotional stress, medical stress, and in some cases push people into really bad situations. So yes, speed matters. Let's talk about backlog. Backlog usually refers to claims that are older than 125 days. So if VA says the backlog is down, that tells you something important. It means fewer claims are sitting around unresolved for a long time. That's good. But backlog numbers do not tell you whether the decisions are right. A claim can leave the backlog because VA granted it, denied it, partially granted it, or issued a bad decision that later has to be appealed. So backlog is one measure. It is not the whole story. Let's talk about the accuracy. VA says its claims processing accuracy rate is 94.02%. Now that sounds strong. A veteran should understand that number does not, what the number does and does not tell you. First, accuracy is a system-level matrix. It is not a promise that your particular case was handled correctly. Second, internal quality matrix can be narrower than what a veteran cares about. A decision might count as technically accurate under an internal review process and still leave out an issue, underrated condition, misfavorable evidence, misunderstand a legal theory, or force the veteran into a long appeal. Now, this is where veterans get into trouble. They hear accuracy is above 94% and assume that means most decisions are right in the way a veteran would define right. This is not necessarily the same thing. There's a difference between a decision surviving an internal matrix and a decision being fully fair, complete, and legally sound in the real world. And then there is the last category, correctness in your case. That is the only category most veterans really care about, I feel. Did VA get my diagnosis right? Did VA rate it correctly? Did VA consider all the evidence? Did VA miss a secondary condition? Did VA overlook an effective date? Did VA ignore favorable findings? Did VA deny me because of an inadequate exam? That is a very different question from whether the average processing time went down nationwide. So the big message of this video is simple. A faster system can be better, but a faster system does not remove the need to read your decision carefully. Now let's talk about why VA may actually be moving faster. Some of this is probably volume management and process improvement. VA's own public materials say it processed more than 3 million claims in FY 2025 and stayed on that pace in FY 2026. VA has also talked about targeted use of overtime and ongoing modernization. And as somebody who's been in the VA system for as many years as I have, boy, those sound like the same points they have talked about and made and highlighted and celebrated over for last 15 or more years. All right, to be fair, there are some categories where faster processing is especially meaningful. DIC claims, survivors benefits like pension, burial benefits, initial pension claims. Those are situations where a delay can be brutal. So VA is generally cutting those timelines down. Well, that matters. But now let's get to the part that belongs, well, on this channel. What should veterans be careful about when the system gets faster? Number one, do not confuse speed with being thorough. A quick decision is not automatically a bad decision, but it also is not automatically a good one. If your case involved multiple conditions, complicated medical evidence, secondary service service. My apologies, everybody. Every now and then my tongue will get tied up as my brain moves faster. But I like to leave these in here so you can see that I am human. Secondary service connection, TDIU, toxic exposure, aggravation, character of discharge, or a messy effective date issue. You still need to review the decision closely. Fast decisions can still miss things. Now, number 2 here, watch for partial wins that feel bigger than they are. This happens all the time. A veteran gets a grant on one issue and feels relief. While that's understandable, maybe VA denied 3 secondary conditions, underrated the main condition, or assigned the wrong effective date. So the veteran thinks, well, at least they finally decided it. Yes, but what exactly did they decide? That's really the question. So number 3 here, fast denials can create pressure. If VA is moving quickly, some veterans may get denials sooner than expected and then feel rushed trying to figure out what to do next. That matters even more in the AMA system where deadlines and lane choices matter. You may need to decide between a supplemental claim, a higher level review, or a board appeal, and those are not interchangeable. So the faster the decision arrives, the more important it is not to waste your response window. Number 4, speed can hide exam problems. So sometimes a claim gets processed quickly because the exam came back quickly. But if the exam was shallow, incomplete, or based on the wrong facts, very common, the case may be moving efficiently in the wrong direction. Now, that's a real problem. Veterans sometimes assume that because the process moved smoothly, the substance must be solid too, and that's not always the case. The mistake I see all the time is people using the speed of the process as a shortcut for judging the quality of the decision. Don't do that. Judge the decision on the evidence, the reasoning, the rating criteria, and the law. Now let's talk about Let's talk about what veterans should do when they got one of those fast decisions. Well, first read the entire decision letter. Not just the combined rating, not just the payment amount, not just the first page. Read the reasons for decision. Read the favorable findings. Read what conditions were granted, denied, deferred, or ignored. Read the effective dates. Read the percentage explanations. Second, compare the decisions to what you actually claimed. Did VA address every issue you filed? Did VA address all raised theories? Did VA consider secondary claims? Did VA deal with TDIU if the record reasonably raised it? Did VA ignore a condition you clearly identified? And so many more. But this is where a lot of bad outcomes hide, is in these questions that we're not asking. Third, compare the rating to the actual rating criteria. If VA granted service connection, do not stop there. Ask whether the percentage is right. A 10% grant when the evidence supports a 30, a 50, or even a 70 is not a full win. It is a partial win and sometimes a misleading one. Fourth, look hard at the effective date. This is one of the biggest money issues in the whole system. A lot of veterans focus on the percentage and miss that the real problem is the start date. A fast decision with the wrong effective date can still cost you a lot. So make sure VA got those effective dates right. We do see those problems as well. It's pretty common to be incorrect, especially on supplemental claims for what we see. Fifth, review the exam if you can get it. Now, as your representative, we can get that and we'll definitely review that for you. But veterans, understand if you don't have a representative, you may have to ask that. Ask for a copy of that from the VA, and there's no guarantee how long that'll take. But if the decision relied on a CMP exam or a VA exam, find out what the examiner actually said. Was the history accurate? Did the examiner consider your statements? Did they answer the right legal question? Did they ignore flare-ups, functional loss, or secondary causation? All this is going to matter. Now let's talk about the bigger policy conversation. VA is always going to want to show progress through numbers. That is normal for any agency. Congress wants matrix, leadership wants matrix, the public wants matrix, and the press release is always going to highlight the best looking numbers. That does not mean the numbers are fake. It just means that they're not the whole story. The veterans' question should always be, what do these numbers mean for the quality of decision making? That is the harder question. Quality. And it is the one that does not fit as neatly into a press release. Because the real life measure of success is not just whether claims moved off a spreadsheet faster. The real life measure is whether veterans got correct decisions without unnecessary appeals, without bad exams, without missed evidence, and without procedural confusion. That's the real test. Now, let me say something to VA employees and representatives. For VA employees, faster processing is not a bad goal. Veterans need timely decisions, for sure. But the system only builds trust if those decisions are also understandable and correct. For VSOs, claim agents, and other attorneys out there, I would say this. This kind of announcement is a reminder that you may need to review decisions even more carefully when the system is moving fast. The pressure to move volume can create mistakes, shortcuts, and overlooked issues. I know, I've lived it. For veterans, the bottom line is this. Take the good news seriously, but do not let the good news make you less careful. A shorter wait is better than a longer wait. A smaller backlog is better than a larger backlog. A higher accuracy rate is better than a lower one. All of this is true. But the decision still has to be right. And if your decision is wrong, incomplete, or underrated, the national trend does not fix your individual case. So, final takeaway. On April 15th, 2026, about VA announced major improvements in claims processing, including faster disability decisions, a lower backlog, and a better reported accuracy. Now, that may reflect real progress, but here's what that means in real life. Veterans should welcome faster decisions and still verify the work. As we were always told, trust but verify. Because the goal is not just a quicker answer, or a quick answer at all. The goal is the right answer. And in VA claims, those are not always the same thing. And take that from somebody who's been on the inside. Quicker is not always better. Even though it can be good, it's not always better. Thank you, everyone, for being here, going through that video with me. Really wanted to highlight the importance of that idea. We do see a lot of claims that get pushed really fast, and I know I see the bad and the ugly of the VA, and that's part of the job. But everyone we see usually is pushed too fast, much faster than some. And anytime it's been pushed fast, from our point of view, they are definitely done wrong. But that's not to say that that's the case for everybody. Just keep in mind, this is not a bashing session. It's just the idea of we have to look deeper than the surface in most cases, and especially when we represent claimants and veterans back here. We want to look deeper than just the surface report. So just some critical thinking for you. Hope you're having a wonderful week and had a wonderful Tuesday. I look forward to all the additional subscribers and comments and likes of all the videos to help us continue the channel, to continue talking about VA benefits and especially compensation, so we can be more educational and improve the process in the future. So thank you again. Have a wonderful day.